Since the first time we learned about Fatima's pregnancy, fans have been divided completely. While some of us were hopeful that maybe this pregnancy was a miracle like Donna thought it was, most of the fans believe that things were not going to end up well for Fatima. Something about this pregnancy just did not sit right for a lot of fans. Now that the third season is close to wrapping up, let's be honest, the complications got far weirder than we had initially thought. So today at Marvelous Videos, we'll be going through everything about Fatima's pregnancy, and why we think there's something absolutely terrifying awaiting her, instead of a bundle of joy. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Fatima's bizarre pregnancy and its strange problems. Being an expecting mother is not an easy thing. You're actively growing a whole human from scratch inside you. And of course, while the baby is growing, the mother's body and mind go through a lot of changes. Some gain a lot of weight, whereas others don't experience that as much. Some women struggle with keeping food down, and some struggle with eating as a whole. Hair loss, joint pain, diabetes during pregnancy, emotional outbursts, etc. are just the tip of the iceberg. So yes, pregnancy is not an easy thing to go through. So when Fatima suspected that she was pregnant in the second season, I thought it would be a terrible course of events from the get-go. Even if the baby is a normal infant, they would not get all the medical care that they need, as long as everyone is stuck in the town, that is. How can a child grow safely in a town like this, where eldritch horrors are waiting right outside the window? I mean, I'm sure the creatures will not stand near the window facing the baby cooing at them, so no, just a bad idea overall. But then, as Fatima decided to keep the pregnancy, and it progressed further, things that I genuinely did not see coming started to show up. A severe morning sickness is an ailment that expectant mothers struggle to cope with, even in the outside world. And here we have Fatima, struggling with that illness while she's out in a town where the weather is changing rapidly, and there's a food shortage because vegetables are rotting. Even though she's getting twice the regular portion of food, Fatima just cannot keep any of it down. She'd spend hours in the bathroom vomiting up whatever she ate, and that's gotta take a huge toll on somebody's body, especially if they're pregnant. At first, Fatima refused to go to a doctor. She eventually relented when one of her teeth fell out. That can happen in case of severe malnourishment, and that is just not the thing you want to hear when you take your expecting wife to the hospital for a checkup, you know? So anyway, Mary gave the couple some medicine to take, and Ellis walked Fatima to the colony house. She tries to go inside, but since the door wouldn't open for her, Fatima decides to turn her head. And what do you know? The smell of rotten vegetables just tickles the right spot. The colony house members were going to turn the rotten vegetables into compost, but Fatima decides to chomp down on some of them. She continues with her rotten vegetable diet for a while in secret, until she gets caught by Tilly. Tilly tries to be understanding, pointing out that some mothers do get strange cravings, and that it's okay. But Fatima voices out the biggest worry that she's been having all this time. What if the cravings mean there's something wrong with the baby? What if this is a sign and that Fatima needs to listen or keep in touch with it? Since she isn't doing so, she can't help but worry that it would all come around and bite her in the ass. Fatima can't talk to Ellis about any of this because she doesn't want to be a downer. Ellis is finally happy, and Fatima wants her man to stay happy. This led to Fatima agreeing to do a tarot card reading with Tilly. However, before she flipped over the card of her choice, a crow shot through the window and died inside the room, freaking everyone out. The dead crow was cleaned up by Nikki, and surprise, surprise, that night Nikki dies when Acosta panics and starts shooting like a stormtrooper at the creatures. Mary tries desperately to save Nikki, but she bleeds out, and there's nothing she could have done. Since earlier, Nikki and Fatima had a bit of an argument about the latter hogging the toilet. Nikki had apologized to Fatima the day she started her rotten vegetable diet. However, now that Nikki is gone, Fatima asks Ellis to give her a moment with Nikki's remains. Instead of, mourning the dead, Fatima starts licking up Nikki's blood from the bullet wound. So yeah, things are not looking so great. Since the ambulance had an ultrasound machine, Fatima and Ellis finally get to have a check on their baby, and the result was not what we expected at all. The ultrasound test showed that she does not have a baby in her womb. All of this understandably means something. Now the question is, what could the explanation be? Could Fatima be turning into something else? The biggest thing that all eagle-eyed fans have noticed since Fatima's pregnancy was confirmed was that she could not open the door of the colony house. At first glance, it seemed like she was holding the door, but then got distracted. But on closer inspection, everyone noticed that Fatima actually turned the doorknob, but the door did not open. As the door was open for other colony house members, it was clearly not locked. But the clicks that you can hear when Fatima turned the doorknob made it sound like the door was fastened shut. Right when Fatima turns toward the crate of rotten vegetables, we see Nikki and others entering the colony house with no problem. This led fans to theorize about a lot of things. One of these fan theories focused on Fatima turning into a creature. That's why the talisman in the colony house prevented her from entering the place. In the clinic, Ellis was the one who opened the door for her. So if she truly was a creature and tried to open the door, the fans believed that Fatima would not have been able to step inside that building either. As her diet became well known to the fans, everyone doubled down on this theory further, adding their own little twists to it. Some said that since the autopsy revealed that these creatures have dried up organs and whatnot, they don't have a proper digestive system. Perhaps that's why the town is making Fatima completely unable to eat any food whatsoever, so that she practically wastes away. Other fans point out that maybe the town intentionally spoiled the crops, because whatever Fatima is pregnant with will only survive by eating the rotten fruits and vegetables. When Fatima's taste for blood was revealed to us, a lot of fans speculated that maybe she and her baby are both creatures. The baby's already questionable, so it could be that it's a demon spawn, a trope that we've seen play out several times. And as an add-on to that, Fatima is turning into a creature herself. Maybe her teeth are falling out to make way for those gnarly gnashers that we've seen the creatures boast. It was noted by a lot of fans that the moment Fatima was about to overturn the tarot card, the crow kamikazed through the window, as though to stop Fatima from learning the fate of her baby. That clocked in as highly suspicious in the eyes of several fans, and I cannot say I share a different opinion. It was too eerie and timely just to be a coincidence. Another big change that was noted in Fatima due to her pregnancy was that she became rather angry and unreasonable. From the first season, Fatima had been the epitome of empathetic wifey material, but now, suddenly in the third season, she's acting like a massive hypocrite, pushing everyone and everything that might help her away and acting emotional and abrasive. Now, I know that she deserves some grace because she's pregnant, and pregnancy hormones do be wildin', but now that we know that she's actually not pregnant, could it be that Fatima's changes are a sign of something much more sinister? Well, that's what it seems like, because ever since her appointment at the clinic for the ultrasound test, everyone around her, from Christy, Mary, to Ellis and Boyd, think that Fatima is crazy. Ellis and Boyd have experienced seeing their loved one lose their mind in front of them in this town. Abby literally went on a murder spree because she couldn't differentiate between her dreams and reality, and assumed that if she murdered everyone, they would wake up in the real world. Now obviously this was a bad decision, and since Abby was going to shoot Ellis, Boyd had to kill the love of his life with his own two hands. Instead of understanding the trauma that Boyd went through, Ellis just doubled down and started hating Boyd for not helping Abby when there was time, and for taking her life. And now, Ellis is learning firsthand what it's like to see your partner lose their mind, and not having anything that you can possibly do to save her. We as the audience know there is something off about this whole miracle pregnancy thing, but when Fatima tries to make her case in front of anyone, she sounds completely insane. That's why now Donna wants to kick Fatima and Ellis out of the colony house, just for the sake of keeping everyone else safe, while Ellis and Fatima do not know anything about that yet. When they do, I'm sure they won't be too happy about it. Now, could it be that Fatima is actually going insane? Up until the 7th episode, I genuinely considered that. Maybe Fatima is actually not pregnant, and it's the town that's playing tricks on her, making her think she's pregnant when she's really not, perhaps to mess with Boyd in particular, or the stability of the community in general. However, after the 7th episode, I have some different opinions about all of it. What is truly happening to Fatima? So everyone who's seen the 7th episode, I'm sure you all know this by now. Tilly is dead. Fatima went inside the greenhouse to eat some more rotten vegetables and ended up getting severe pain in her stomach. Tilly tried to calm her down, but in a fit of pain and rage, Fatima accidentally stabbed Tilly in the heart with garden shears. Now, what Tilly says in her dying breath is what has me thinking that maybe Fatima is not losing her mind. Instead of being shocked at being stabbed or even absolving Fatima of her guilt, Tilly instead asks Fatima to run away. Why would Tilly tell her to run away? Isn't it much more expected of someone who's just been stabbed through their chest to flail, gasp, choke, or scream? Even if the old lady was supposedly in too much shock to have responded in such ways, wouldn't it have prevented her from voicing her warning as well? So why indeed does old Tilly give Fatima the ominous message? Is it because Tilly knows that since Fatima killed her, she would be sent to the box? Is that what she wants Fatima to run away from? I don't think so. I think maybe Tilly actually saw the card that Fatima had chosen. Look back at the scene, guys. Fatima asks the question, then she touches the card. She's about to turn it over, and then the crow smashes inside through the window. Fatima is distracted, and we all assume Tilly put the cards back. So if Tilly is the one who puts the cards back, I'm sure she picked the cards which she had laid out in front of Fatima as well, and put them back in the deck. Given, frankly, how nosy Tilly is, I wouldn't be surprised if she actually checked the card that Fatima was about to turn. So my theory is that Tilly gave such an ominous warning in her dying breath because the woman knew that something bad was about to happen to Fatima. Tilly knew that something or someone is after Fatima and her baby, and it would serve the young mother well to make an escape. In recent episodes of From, we also figured out that the kimono lady who has been showing up in front of Elgin is very clearly after Fatima. Up until now, I thought she wanted Elgin to bring her peace after her death or something, but now I don't think so. She popped out of Fatima's picture and sounded rather desperate to get Elgin into whatever plan she had. We've covered it in one of the earlier videos, but I think this kimono lady is an Ame Ongna who has been targeting Fatima's baby. She started showing up after Fatima's pregnancy was confirmed. I suggest you guys check out the lore and mythos behind the Japanese yokai, the Ame Ongna that is, and why her existential disposition to steal babies makes Fatima her natural target. Be sure to give it a watch and let us know if we're onto something with this. Now that we know Fatima is not dealing with a normal baby, it makes all the more sense why the kimono lady is after her. If the kimono lady is a helpful entity, she will help Elgin destroy the baby, and if she has evil designs, she'll ensure the safe delivery of the demon baby. Any one of these would most likely happen, and whichever way the story goes, I'll be enjoying the ride. Marvelous verdict. Fatima's pregnancy has had all of us rather curious since it was first introduced. What started off as, oh no, what would these two parents do with a baby coming, quickly devolved into, oh what the heck is wrong with the baby? And that is definitely a freaky, albeit rather exciting turn of events. I, as a fan, believe wholeheartedly that Fatima is pregnant with a baby demon or a creature baby, something that cannot bypass the talisman. And while Fatima may not turn into a creature because of the pregnancy, I think she would come super close to turning into one or dying while giving birth. Let us know in the comments what you guys think will happen to Fatima and her baby, and I'll catch you all next time. If you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.